competition they faced. So the quarterback, they quarterback, what that was his same competition. So it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Is that why he slipped in the?
Well, if you go from, if you want to say that, I think it's different with a quarterback compared to a receiver in the corner, because a quarterback can be great. You got to be a good quarterback regardless where you play at in college. I feel if you're playing in that, when you're playing in the SEC, when it comes to the speed and skill, when it comes to corner and receiver, it's a little different, I think, compared to a quarterback. Because a quarterback can be good regardless where you play at. Because we done seen D2
Yeah,
quarterback ball
yeah.
out. Joe Flacco, Steve McNair. You know what I'm saying? Players like that.
Allen.
Allen, exactly. So
Yeah.
I just think it's a little different. If you going at quarterback, you gonna shine wherever you at. If you want D3, D2, or D1,
As
but
long as
when
they create that defense.
but when it comes to corner and receiver, man, like you don't see too many corner. Now you do see them, but you don't see too many corners and receivers like quarterbacks that come from those type of programs as much. Anyway, you got to remember there's only 32 quarterbacks in the, starters in the NFL. But then when you come to corners and receivers, there's so much more. But you always have those quarterbacks that excel, that come from them smaller schools.
Yeah, but yeah, with Shedeur.
That boy tearing it up. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Damn, Rob, you didn't answer the question. I see the question now. Should Shedeur start this season? And like I'm always gonna remember, bring it up. You are a dog, right? You a dog, ain't it? Ain't you
I'm
part of the dog pound?
a Browns fan, so I sometimes I feel like I might be a little biased on something because I'm a fan. So, but man, listen, like I told you, I think last time we spoke about this, really you gotta wait, man. Because this is you gotta wait to the preseason. You gotta really see what he can do. I personally watching him talk, man, I love it, man. Like I feel like, man, he's doing he's saying all the right things. If you look at, they keeping his stats, you know that they keeping his stats in
Yeah, you watching.
OTAs, and he's on fire, man. He he hasn't thrown a bad pass the whole thing, man. I seen one throw was to the knees on I want to say a out because I follow the Browns, of course, so I see all the plays, right? And I only seen one bad pass, and it was actually catchable, but it was low and down. But a tight end, it was actually catchable. He threw a pick today, and it
Yeah,
went.
I seen the tip ball
No,
pick.
it wasn't tip. It was a slant, and it came in right. I mean, right on the numbers. It just bounced off his, his head bounced off his shoulder pads, or
But it wasn't a tip. You talking about the same slant that the it
it was
was it was the slant,
it was
right?
a tip.
Slant to the
No,
right.
not a corner. He could have got his hand in there, and it could have hit the corner arm too. So it was a good defensive play at the same time. It was close coverage, but it was still right on the money. And
Yeah, yeah, no, that's the one I seen. Yeah, that's the same one I seen. I think. Yeah,
so
and
that's his first pick, and it really wasn't his fault.
yeah, that quick slant that bounced up, and then they got the
Right,
interception.
right.
But like I said, I'm biased. You know, you biased as a fan, as a Cleveland Browns fan. I'm biased as a Shedeur Sanders fan. You know what I'm saying? So with me, I know he was not a fifth round. You know, everybody knows that. And
Every,
some of these, it's some guys, bro, that that's on the big networks. And when they give their take on that, man, they always be talking about, he's a fifth round pick. He's a fifth round pick. I understand that he's a fifth round pick, but I also understand he was not a fifth round talent that got chosen in the fifth round. You know what I'm saying? So when they talk about him, can he even make the team? They
you,
like
you,
can they like can he make the team because he was drafted in the fifth round? But at some point, we're gonna have to set aside that fifth round draft pick position because we know that's not his skill talent. Don't put him in the fifth round. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else coming out without his father's stardom, you know what I'm saying, and him being in that spotlight and who his dad is, we know he's not a fifth round pick. So at some point they're gonna have to stop saying, well, he's a fifth round pick. He's got to make the team first. And I listen to the reports. I catch some of them in the locker room. They like him in the locker room. Nothing but good things is coming out from what I've been hearing. So you know what I'm saying. So I just
Get behind him.
hope he get a fair chance at least this time. You know what I'm
I,
saying?
I wasn't a Shedeur fan. I'm not saying. I'm gonna say I thought Shedeur was gonna go late. I say Shedeur should go. In my opinion, I was saying Shedeur should go late second round.
Yeah,
At,
that's
at
fair.
the latest,
Yeah,
when I seen him go to the third round, I was like, "Whoa, okay, somebody finna get a good pick."
I'm trying to get a steal.
Yeah, and then when I couldn't believe it when he went to the fourth. Like this is crazy. I think it's deeper. I think, man, NFL funny, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of conspiracies. Like I could go all day with these conspiracies
It
about
definitely,
why Shedeur Sanders fell in that draft. But
no,
honestly, I could say like the one recently one I heard was the coaches felt threatened by Deion Sanders taking a job.
I see that a lot.
Yeah, I heard
I,
that one
before
too.
the draft,
And and
Yeah,
I can feel that, but I don't think the coaches make the draft picks though, so that probably wouldn't that don't really hold too much weight.
but
nah. What they was scared of is them drafting. Is them. Nah, the coaches got to say so too. The coach. If I'm the coach, this how the coach. If I'm the coach and I'm going out there to see, I'm gonna throw some salt in the game. Just like what they saying, he went in there with some headphones on. He was unprepared. He didn't
Yeah.
he didn't read the thing good. If I'm the coach and I know the owner might want to take you, when I go I'm having a meeting
Okay.
with the owner, I'm gonna throw some salt in that game. Like I don't know, man. This and this and that. Also, it's gonna be too much off the field stuff going on with his dad being Dion, and because remember, even with that, Dion made sure he signed that extension with Colorado before the draft, so that could get that out the way. You see what I'm saying? He made
Yeah,
sure he
yeah.
signed that extension with Colorado before the draft, so they could get that out the way. And he just mentioned that too on the Sante podcast. He mentioned that like a lot of them, they were scared for me to get me going. He's like, man, I'm not even into that, right? I don't even want to do that.
they
I want to
using
be
it as.
on the coach. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what. Okay, we talk about conspiracies. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say Dion came out and say, "Man, my son ain't playing for certain teams." Like